the University of Pennsylvania study is a good place to start. He's got lots of, they've got lots of sources in there. I don't think there's necessarily a directory of 97 in Canada.
There's a site called policy.ca, and I don't know if it's still active anymore. It was run out of UBC, I think. I mean, George Hoberg. I mean, the site still exists. I don't know whether it's updated, but as of, it will give you a good snapshot of the way the landscape was maybe a couple of years ago. But it has a list of think tanks, how big they are, who runs them, what areas of research they do. So that might be a good resource for you as well.
I think CAPS as well has compiled a list. I don't think it's totally comprehensive, but it might be a better resource.
And the other thing you can do, sorry, I just wanted to add one more thing. The Department of Foreign Affairs has some listservs of, they do a review of U.S. think tanks that are of interest to the Canadian policy community. So that's a way to, by reading those, you can see who the main U.S. think tanks are. It won't give you anything outside of that. And they also do a similar thing for the UK. So that's two other sources that you might find useful.
Well, definitely in our communications department. I mean, it's one thing to write a good research, but it's also something, to write a good story, to write a good news release, and you have to be excellent to write those at the Institute. That's how our papers get, talked about in the media. If the news release is good and the person who read it is able to take out what would be interesting for the media and put it interesting, because even journalists, they want their job to be done for them.
I think a PhD, is, I mean, as much as it's a specialization, it's also, it also gives you a kind of a research ability. So research is a PhD. You dive deep, you get deep into things and issues. You know how to generate results with a large amount of material and how to really condense that information. And you write a lot. And not only do you write, but you're able to communicate your research findings through the comprehensive exam process, through all your oral exams. You're trained to really be that communicator through writing, through speaking, and through analytical abilities. So as much as you have a specialization, I think it's also about selling yourself on that wider ability as a researcher, as a thinker, as a rigorous, innovative thinker.
Simon, you wear both
I
hats.
wear both hats, yeah. I teach at the university, and I mean, think tanks you're not unionized. I mean, it all depends, really, on what you're looking for. But I mean, it comes back to really being engaged in what you're doing, and having that joie de vivre in your life, in your work, and to drive you in what you do. If security is what you're interested in, being part of a union, I don't think there are any think tanks that are unionized in that way. The university environment is very different. And the teaching element in the university is very, I mean, the teaching is a really big part of being in the university. For me it is. I mean, some people like to be in the university because of the research. It's a different kind of research. I like the teaching element of the university personally.
Yeah, I mean, just picking up on what you said, it depends on, because at a think tank, I'll just speak for the IRP, we're not pushing the frontiers of research. We're taking what's out there and doing policy analysis around it. So if you're somebody who likes to push the frontiers, you're not going to be happy in a job like mine, because we're asking research questions that are answerable given the body of knowledge that exists right now, because we don't have the financial means to push the envelope. We count on SHRC, government agencies and universities to do that, because that's not our mandate. So, I mean, that's sort of how you split this job satisfaction. Now, I happen to be a person who really enjoys the translation of complex ideas that are generated in academia and elsewhere into terms that are understandable and actionable by policymakers that hopefully over time will make a difference and make Canada a better place to live. And I tried my hand at the academic world, and I just wasn't happy because that wasn't who I was. But I think so I think it's hard to answer the question of which is the more satisfactory job. But if I had to identify what are the pieces that would lend the most satisfaction, I think that would be it.
No, I would assume that if there's such a study is designed, you give them different criteria and then
Yeah.
you have, find a way to
Yeah.
kind of round them up at the end.
We do at the
The
Commerce Board
experts.
Canada, we do have a group that does job satisfaction, that sort of element. So, I mean, that could be an interesting pitch to them if you were, but I mean, going on what you said about innovation, I think that I think that working in a think tank, we are innovative. We are on the cutting edge when we have in the think tanks that have a research, an in-house research group, and we really are doing a lot of cutting edge research. That is applicable, and I mean, academics will pick it up, and government policymakers will pick it up, industry will pick it up, and the great thing is that we can do that innovative research, that it has a meaningful, I mean, we're not just researching some kind of obscure author or writing a book that, or publishing material in an academic journal that people only in the university have access to. We're publishing and producing results that anyone can have access to. So I mean, it's a different kind of innovative thinking that goes on.